Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brenna Monk podcast. I'm your host, James Cigar, and we're trying something new here. As you can see, I don't have my big old giant microphone here with me. Recording with the small mic here for my visual watchers on the YouTube. How are you doing? I hope you're doing superb. I'm doing quite well. School just started and everything. I'm out here, I'm working. But luckily, hey, I got to find some time to make some content for you guys at home watching. And so thank you very much for taking the time out of your day, spending some time with me. Today, we're gonna dip our toes a little bit into the NFL season. We're gonna be talking about our record predictions. We're gonna go division by division, hoping to push out these episodes for y'all before the NFL season. So let's just dive right in. Without further ado, we're going to start things off here with the NFC North, folks. All right, so we're going to start, I think, bottom to top. So if you are the fan of the Minnesota Vikings, unfortunately, yes, you are sitting at the very bottom of the NFC North Division in the Run-A-Monk division predictions, I suppose, or record predictions, whatever you want to call this series. And it's for a plethora of things. I at first I don't see much talent on the roster itself. Also, it's just been a very tough offseason for the Minnesota Vikings, dealing with many injuries off the field, and of course the death of the rookie cornerback Kyrie Jackson. Rest in peace, of course. Very unfortunate situation. Didn't even get a chance to be able to step on the NFL field, something that many dream of doing. So very unfortunate situation there for Mr. Kyrie Jackson and his family. But yes, the Minnesota Vikings. So they signed a couple of key free agents, though. Aaron Jones is a big one, getting to the latter half of his career. But, he could still bring some production to a team. Maybe the Minnesota Vikings. Of course, he played for the Green Bay Packers. Now he's on the division rival. Signed edge Jonathan Grenard, who put up similar numbers to Danielle Hunter, who you lost to the Houston Texans. But again, I don't think he's going to be as productive, as good of a pass rusher as Hunter was for the Minnesota Vikings. Quarterback Sam Darnold, who we'll get into a little bit more later on, but what a signing. Andrew Van Ginkel, who has some similarities with Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator. So I think that could work out well. I think that Van Ginkel is a very underrated type of player. Real scrappy guy. You put him in on defense, he's going to play his role, and he's going to do his job. And so I think that that's a good signing. Other guys, just to fill in the roster, Blake Cashman, Jonathan Bullard. Just recently, Stephon Gilmore, of course, very much at the latter half of his career. For a team that's struggling with secondary, I think it's fine, whatever. But nothing to really write home about at the end of the day. As I mentioned, injury concerns. The linebacker, free agent, Blake Cashman, he's got an injury. Jordan Addison, he's dealing with an ankle injury. Plus, he had some off-field issues. TJ Hawkinson, who's dealing with that ACL, is probably going to leach into next year as well. Dalton Risner, offensive guard. And of course, the big one, J.J. McCarthy, the 9th overall pick in the NFL draft, with a guy who this was his rookie year, a big developmental year for the guy. A lot of question marks surrounding his name, and now he can't even go out there to prove himself. And when he did have the chance in the preseason game that he played in, he looked really, really solid. So that is a big blow to the Minnesota Vikings, and another reason why I think they're going to struggle quite a lot here. I'm kind of giving my reasonings before I get into the record, if you didn't notice already. I was saying they should probably go out and get Jameis Winston or something. Just another quarterback that can at least win them a couple games if they want to be competitive. If you just want to get a top 5 pick, hey, so be it. Just rock with Darnold. All right, so let's dive into the record predictions now, because I think that's enough reason given why. Oh, also, you traded Andrew Booth for Nahshon Wright, another cornerback. I totally did not understand that move at all. I think it's a lateral move. Maybe another reason to think that, hey, maybe they are actually actively tanking this season. So you start off week 1 against the New York Giants. That's going to be a win. That's going to be a win. I think the Giants are going to be very bad as well, which we'll get into when we talk about the NFC East. But the Minnesota Vikings are going to open up the season with the win on the road. Then you've got the San Francisco 49ers at home. You've got the Houston Texans at home. So you get to stay home for 2 weeks in a row. Those are going to be 2 losses. You got to travel to the Green Bay Packers. Packers are going to get that dub at Lambeau Field. We're not going to see another Minnesota Viking win until week 11 against the Tennessee Titans. I've got it. They've got some tough opponents. I mean, this is a really brutal schedule. The Packers. Then you've got the Jets. Then you've got an early bye week. Then going against the Lions, going against the Rams, which, okay, I could see them maybe making that Rams game competitive. We'll see how that goes. Maybe they sneak an extra win against the Rams. Colts, so they play the AFC South, it looks like. And then you've got the Bears on here. Another win I've got going against is against the Arizona Cardinals in week 13. I got Minnesota that one, and also against the Bears. They're going to split against the Bears. They're going to take the one in Minnesota, and that's going to be their last win at week 15. So I've got the Minnesota Vikings going a whopping 4-12. I'm very sorry, Minnesota Vikings fans, but I just think it's going to be kind of a throwaway season. You're already dealing with injuries here in the offseason. Your rookie quarterback is gone. You've got really nothing looking forward to. And frankly, if I'm a Vikings fan, I kind of hope to lose this much. I mean, I really don't see much success in the team in this season. Might as well lose and get a really good draft pick. You know what I'm saying? The bright spots, you've got Justin Jefferson. You got Ivan Pace on defense. He'll be fun to root for. But overall, it's going to be a pretty rough year, so I would buckle in tight, Minnesota Vikings fans. Next up, the Chicago Bears coming third place. This is an exciting team. You traded for some key veterans, you signed some key vets, and of course, you're bringing in a young number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, plus Rome Odunze. So you're surrounding your young quarterback with a lot of really talented guys. I think that they're putting Caleb Williams up in a great situation. So they traded for Keenan Allen. They signed Kevin Byard and DeAndre Swift, 2 vets that I think could contribute. They also got Gerald Everett, who he's a tight end that's been around. He's going to know how to play his position, and he knows how to play it well. He's very, very solid. I've always been a big Gerald Everett fan. He's a guy that in a couple years we'll be naming. Hey, you remember Gerald Everett? Yeah, so you got a good young class, Caleb Williams, Odunze, and I really like their 3rd round pick, Kieran Amaji. Not sure how to pronounce the last name, but a very good offensive lineman that I was really looking at coming into this class here. The bright spots, again, are these young guys. Montez Sweat, of course, DJ Moore. So yeah, that receiver core of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze, they are going to eat. And also, I'd keep an eye out on their breakout cornerbacks, Jalen Johnson, who got his bag. You got Tyreek Stevenson going into his 2nd year. Hopefully he improves. You've got Kyler Gordon, who has had his ups and downs, but hey, maybe now with this team being a little bit more competent, maybe he improves with it. Overall, the offensive line could use some help, though. Of course, as any good team, always want to build the trenches, so that wouldn't hurt for the Chicago Bears. All in all, I had them going 7-10, a very solid season. Not bad, hey, but still not great. So week 1, I do have them taking the L against the Tennessee Titans simply because it's a young team. I think that they're going to have their growing pains. And I also have them losing week 2 to the Houston Texans. But week 3 against the Indianapolis Colts, I've got Chicago winning their first game on the road in Indianapolis, then losing to the Rams. I think Sean McVay is going to be tough on the rookies. And then winning against the Carolina Panthers at home, that's going to be a fun match. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars beating them just before the bye week. And then I think the Bears are going to come back hot after the bye week, winning against the Commanders and then losing against the Cardinals and then winning the next 3 matchups against the Patriots, the Packers, and the Vikings again, as I mentioned there. Chicago winning at home. But yeah, I think that they do steal one against, actually I had them sweeping the Green Bay Packers there because they play the Packers week 18. I don't think it's going to matter too much for Green Bay, although if it is for a wild card spot or something, I think Green Bay probably would come out on top for that one there. But overall, the Bears, they got to face the Lions. I think the Lions sweep them. They're going to face the 49ers. I think they're going to beat them. But not a bad schedule, but a tough one for a rookie quarterback, Caleb Williams. Chicago, it's going to be some good signs this year. It's going to be some good signs. There'll be the ups and downs, but overall, I think that the grounds are there for a very, very talented, a very, very dangerous team in the NFC North. All right, folks, so my camera died, so if stuff looks a little bit different, that is why. It's a totally new day recording this. I just threw on the same shirt for the sake of time, I guess. I don't know. But yes, all right. So we're hopping into our top two teams here in the NFC North. Let's see. We previously talked about how I had the Vikings at last place and the Chicago Bears. Now jumping right into second place, sitting at 10-7, the Green Bay Packers. I think that this is pretty good for the Green Bay Packers. Some might say I'm underrating them. I'm sorry. I think that last season, they had a great season and everything. I don't know if they replicate that same type of, mojo that they had going. Jordan Love going into his fifth year. And I think, they're going to start out hot. They're going to start out hot going up against the Philadelphia Eagles week 1. I gave them the dub on the road, getting the win at home against the Colts, and then again against the Titans, and then beating Minnesota. I think their first loss comes against the Los Angeles Rams in SoFi Stadium. Then I got them losing to the Arizona Cardinals. I think that, the Cardinals can be a sneaky team this year, and they're going to take out some good teams. Again, also losing to the Texans. So going 4-0 and then going 0-3 the next 3 games. So here 4-3 going into week 8. I've got them winning their next 2 games, beating the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Detroit Lions in Lambeau, and then their bye week here. So then they're 4, 5, 6 and 3 going into their bye week, and then right out of the bye, I've got them losing in Chicago, and then losing again against the 49ers, but then winning and catching a streak a little bit. And then week 18, I do have the Chicago Bears sweeping the Packers, because I feel like the Packers could just kind of put the foot off of the gas a little bit. However, Packers fans, don't be too upset. I think that if this game is meaningful for them for a playoff position and for seeding and such, I do think that they get it together and they get the win. But for the time being, for the sake of the video here, I've got the Packers losing week 18 against the Chicago Bears. But I could very well see that being a win, and then them going 11-6. Let's talk about their offseason a little bit. They no more David Bakhtiari, no more Aaron Jones, no more Devondre Campbell. Bakhtiari is still a free agent, maybe probably hinting towards retirement. Aaron Jones, he signed with the Minnesota Vikings, and then Devondre Campbell, he's on the 49ers. So those are 3 pretty valuable veterans gone. However, they made some nice free agent additions in Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinley. Jacobs is going to be an immense boost to this run game as long as he can stay healthy, because A.J. Dillon is out for the entire season. So if Jacobs goes out, it's going to be a little bit tough. Marshawn Lloyd, the rookie, who I also have down here, drafted in the 3rd round, I think he could be a very solid plug-and-play type of guy if Jacobs were to go down. Otherwise, Jacobs is going to be a very, very good option in this offense. And then Xavier McKinley, a young rising star safety, who I think this team kind of really needed. I think McKinley really fits in with all the other solid, really good vets that they've got on that team. Jair Alexander, Preston Smith, Rashad Gary, Kenny Clark, and now you've got some young guys, McKinley, Quay Walker, who's still a little bit younger, and then pairing him up with the 2nd round rookie Javon Bullard out of, I believe, Georgia, who was a guy that I really liked coming out of the draft. And I think that he landed in a really good position here in Green Bay. Those are going to be a really nice safety duo. Speaking of the draft, they picked up Jordan Morgan in round 1, who played a lot of tackle at Arizona. Looks like he's listed at right guard, actually, for the Packers. So we'll see how he plays out. Edrin Cooper they picked up in round 2, along with Javon Bullard, as I just mentioned. A.J. Dillon is on season-ending injury reserve, which is definitely unfortunate for the boy. But I think that overall, this Green Bay Packers team is going to be very nice. They've got a nice young core. Again, Jordan Love, their receiving core, which I still think that they can use a a number one guy. I feel like they don't really have a number one. They've got Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and then Dontavius Wicks. I mean, those are just guys that I feel like are more so like complementary receivers. I don't really think that there's a solidified receiver one in that room. I feel like week by week, any one of those guys can pop off, which is a good thing, also a bad thing. So take that as you will. I feel like they could have used a veteran presence in there, though. Um, whether they go out and snag one at the trade deadline, or I don't know, whatever other free agents are out there that they want to go and get. But I think that they could use a more reliable receiving threat. Take that as you will. And then they've got a solid O line, as I mentioned there, with Jordan Morgan playing right guard. All in all, just a very a good team altogether. A young team though, so I think that'd be their flaw with how young they are. But they've got a taste of the playoffs. They've got a taste of the, winning a playoff game as well. So if they do make it into the playoffs, I wouldn't count them out of winning another game or two. But yeah, I think the Packers, give them another year or two, they're going to be very, very dangerous. I just think they really need either one of these receivers to emerge and totally distance themselves from everybody else, or get a better receiver. That's just my opinion. Take that as you will. And so that leaves only one team at the top. We've got Barry Sanders representing them right here. The Detroit Lions, of course, the Lions, they are the team of this division. They were caught on a hot streak last season, and it's always fun to see these bad teams become good overnight. And that's kind of how I felt like with the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell came in, rebuilt this entire culture, and now that they're a team that's going to compete hopefully for years down the road. First and foremost, their free agent moves, nobody too major, but teams that are players that are really going to fit the culture that Dan Campbell built and the type of play style that the Detroit Lions want to run. Smack you in your mouth, bite the kneecaps. When you get pushed down, coming on the way up, bite another kneecap. That's the type of culture that they're embracing, and it's great. It's great. They've got Marcus Davenport and DJ Reader for the defensive line, two guys that I think are going to be very scrappy. DJ Reader especially, as long as he can stay on the field. This was a team that struggled stopping the run. He just adds that big body in the middle. Nobody's going to be able to run through that middle there. DJ Reader, very, very solid pickup there. They got offensive guard Kevin Zeitler and recently Tim Patrick, receiver as well, who is that guy that, again, aggressive, rough and tough, guy that fits the motto. And they also traded for Carlton Davis, and that actually reminds me, this secondary is really, really good, folks. This is a really, really good secondary with, of course, the rookie cornerbacks, Terran Otto and Anis Rakestraw. You invested 2 early round picks into those guys, so you really hope that they play out. I think that they are going to be scrappy. They might get called for a lot of defensive pass interference calls, but they're also going to get a lot of interceptions. Receivers are going to hate playing against the Detroit Lions. So again, you got Arnold Rakestraw, Carlton Davis, not to mention Amik Robertson, Brian Branch, who you can play up top at safety. You can also bring him down in the nickel as well. He's a tough guy. Kirby Joseph, Ifeatu Melifonu. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. So that secondary is just filled with talent and name value and players that you're going to hope to get the best out of. Gibbs and David Montgomery, they're going into their second year together. I think that Gibbs is going to emerge as the RB1. I think he already probably is. But yeah, hopefully Monty doesn't steal those red zone touches again. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who just got paid. Hopefully, you expect him to go off. And then year 2, Sam Laporta. Just a lot of talent on this team, guys. The only big question mark, again, is Jared Goff. This is a team that the Detroit Lions, I feel, they're going to lose in the playoffs again. They're going to lose in the playoffs maybe next year. This is a team that is literally a quarterback away. And I don't mean to bash Jared Goff. He does exactly what they want, and he is solid. He's just okay, though. He's just okay. Detroit fans, I know they all rally around Jared Goff and do this and do that. Yes, he's been in the Super Bowl before. I just don't think that he is the quarterback to win the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl. I'm sorry if that, I don't know if that's hot. Is that a hot take or not? I don't know. But yes, the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff has to get off of this team. Play him as he is. I know you paid him all this money now too, so he's pretty stuck on this team, but you got to start looking for the replacement. You've got this young core. young great rookies, young receiver Amon Ra, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. You've got that core on offense. Don't let it go to waste on Jared Goff, man. Please. I would love to see a more dynamic and electric quarterback leading this team. That being said, again, Goff delivers the ball just well to Amon Ra, just well to Sam Laporta. I just don't think he's going to get him over the hump. Just my opinion. I'm sorry. Going into their record, I've got them finishing 12-5, winning this division, as I said, starting off the season hot with 4-0. A very early bye week at week 5, though, so that's very unfortunate for them. Actually, outside of the bye, I've got them losing to the Dallas Cowboys coming off that bye week there, and then beating the Vikings and the Tennessee Titans back to back, losing to the Packers and the Texans back to back, and then going on a 4-0 win streak until they lose to the Buffalo Bills, finishing the season 2-1, beating the Bears, losing to the Niners, and then beating the Minnesota Vikings. So that's how I've got the Detroit Lions record panning out. Yeah, there. But this is a team that, again, I can see them going back to the NFC Championship game potentially. Right now they're ranked, of course, I believe at number 1. I haven't done the other rankings yet. I haven't done the other records, but at the end of this series, maybe then we'll go into my playoff predictions and this and that. But overall, yes, the Detroit Lions are gonna have a good season still. It's gonna be fun to watch, and plus they've got the new uniforms, plus 1,000 aura, plus 10,000 aura. Overall, it's gonna be a good team. I just don't think that Jared Goff is the quarterback to push this team over the hump. I'm sorry. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the NFC North Division predictions, folks. I will see you in the next episode where we go over the AFC North. So we're going to be going divisional or regional here, AFC and NFC North, and then we'll do South, yada, 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 yada. This was very fun. I'm glad to be back, hopefully to upload consistently. Folks, I will see you in the next video going over the AFC North. Make sure you follow all these socials. Check out the links in the description below. Like, follow, let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Run Amok. I'm your host, Jamin Takar. Peace out.